For decades, the number of those wearing a British Army uniform has been falling. From over 500,000 in the early 1980s, it's now down to just under 140,000. And despite wanting to demonstrate its most modern technology, there are worries about a lack of equipment. In January, the head of the US Navy called on Britain to reassess the size of its armed forces to better respond to global threats. Former UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said the armed forces had been hollowed out and underfunded for more than a decade. The new man in the job told Parliament that he's well aware of the scale of the task.
We know these are serious times. War in Europe, conflict in the Middle East, growing Russian aggression and increasing global threats. And we know too there are serious problems. Morale at record lows, dreadful military housing and a defence procurement that the Public Accounts Committee has described as broken and wasting taxpayers' money. We can't solve these problems all at once, but we are determined to fix them.
Part of that fix is a comprehensive defence review, a huge undertaking that won't report back until some point in the first half of 2025. But many experts and prominent former members of the armed forces have warned there are no easy solutions. They say without significant investment, the UK will need to step back from its role in global defence. The new Labour government says it's inherited public finances with a $28 billion hole in them. But despite that, commitments to spending 2.5% of GDP on defence, once the country can afford it, remains central to the new administration. In his first foreign trip as Prime Minister, Keir Starmer reaffirmed the UK's unshakable support for NATO.
We are very proud of the fact that we are a founding member of NATO, and that if you go to Brussels to your headquarters and look at the original treaty, you see the signature of our Labour Secretary of State on that document. And the ambition and the purpose then is as important now as it was then, as we face a very volatile world.
Those in the defence industry, unsurprisingly, welcome the commitment to increase spending on the sector. They're also highlighting the need for greater collaboration in uncertain times.
We've got a new UK government coming in, but really in terms of defence, I think one thing everyone is agreed on, to some extent that's dictated by current events around the world, is that, investment into defence is required. A more sustainable and safe future for the users of defence is critical, and partnership and collaboration, not just between private and public sector, but also between nations, is only going to go up on an upward trajectory.
The defence industry is big business in the UK, supporting roughly 85,000 full-time jobs. Many global defence companies have huge manufacturing bases here, kept well away from public view. The new commitment to increase spending is welcome news for them, but at a time when government finances are stretched thin, the fear is that cuts will have to be made elsewhere if the UK wants to bolster its armed forces and continue to play a leading role in defence worldwide. John Bevir, CNA, Bristol.